we met.
So we're rolling?
So before
Sneaky!
I know, right?
Oh my God.
And how long we go back was where we left off. Which
2008.
is
2008
And
was
that's-
such a year.
And that's your story of how you got to LA, right?
I moved to Los Angeles in 2008. I would have never come to this city if I hadn't have came with a roommate.
Okay.
Because the idea of moving to Los Angeles was so overwhelming and so scary that I would never do it by myself.
From Arizona. Right?
Well, I graduated from University of Arizona,
Okay.
moved to Chicago because I thought I would work for Oprah. Like, I was just like, I majored in journalism. I worked for my local news. Like, I'm going to work for Harpo Productions.
And you were on her show.
Exactly. I didn't
Okay.
work for her, but I did a show for Oprah called Oprah's Big Give, where I traveled the United States, surprising people with money, paying off their debts, answering dying wishes. And it really gave me a chance at being in front of the camera. And that's when I decided I got to go to LA. And so I moved here with my roommate who I met on the show, Cameron Johnson.
Oh, I remember him. You
Yeah,
introduced me to him.
Cameron, my
Okay.
little man child. And he was like, I want to live where they film the hills.
Okay.
So I want to live at the Palazzo. And I was like, I can't afford the Palazzo. So he said, I'll let you pay however much we agreed on because we need to live there. Like, we need to be in the heart of LA.
Yeah, downtown LA, right?
And we had, no, right across from the Grove.
Oh, yes. Okay. Right.
And we had the most epic 1.5, 2 years together. Like, strictly platonic friend. I was more like his mom. He was my child.
Right.
I mean, it was such a time to be alive in Los Angeles. Like, I remember seeing Lady Gaga at like the smallest little venue. She was on the floor. There was no stage.
Okay.
And it was just her and two dancers. I remember being at Hyde and dancing with Ryan Seacrest and seeing like Paris Hilton in real life.
Okay.
I went to the Playboy Mansion for the Midsummer Night's Dream Party. Like, 2008 was such a different world.
Yeah, that's a
You know,
long
it's
time.
like
Yes.
social media wasn't really big. Everyone had Facebook kind of.
I think it was Facebook just started. Yes.
Yeah. So I moved to LA knowing that I wanted to be an on-camera host, having a decent like amount of experience, but knowing that if I have to go back and be a cocktail waitress, I will. If I have to work at a retail store or a coffee shop. And luckily I got connected with the Boys and Girls Clubs of Santa Monica.
Right.
And the director of development there hired me as a grant writer and said, as long as you finish your projects and you complete all of your tasks, you can leave at a moment's notice to go do an interview or to do a camera test.
That's
and so
great.
that's how I paid my bills, was working as a grant writer.
And what does a grant writer do at Boys and Girls Club?
So at
Like-
the time, I was either fulfilling grants or pursuing them. So let's say a big company like Nike says, we have X amount of dollars to give if you start a technology program. And these are kind of the prerequisites. And tell us about your demographic and the kids that you serve. And so I would apply for grants. And some of them took months to complete. Some only took a couple weeks.
Right.
And I would secure $100,000, $10,000, a $5,000 grant. Wow. And then I would execute the grant or the program and then keep track of everything.
Wow. So that my dad and I were involved in the Boys and Girls Club of Santa Monica on the council and the board. And we would we would donate for the auction, the gala. And that's how we met you. You were, I think, were you hosting the gala? Or
so what
working
happened
it?
was you guys donated jewelry.
Yeah.
And someone else donated a fur jacket.
Okay.
And then someone asked me to be the model.
Okay.
So I worked in development,
Right.
but I ended up going on stage at the auction. And I wore the piece of jewelry and I modeled it. And we tried to, get those awesome donations.
Yeah. And then I was like, oh, okay, like we could do something together.
Yeah.
Got it.
I think I
couldn't
pitched you
remember-
some ideas. I remember being like, you need me.
Yes, but you were also like saying how you were producing videos at the time. You were a pageant contestant.
I am a former pageant queen.
Pageant queen.
Yep.
And you would also consult.
I was coaching at the time.
Coaching, okay.
Yes, I was coaching women on their interview.
Right.
On ways they could get involved in their community. Because so much of beauty pageants is like the service that you're doing to the community.
Right. And at the time I wanted to film, now I'm remembering it.
Okay.
With Tyler.
Yes.
We wanted to film a reality show on the jewelry business, essentially.
We eventually got there, yeah.
And you said you could help me with that.
Yes.
And you helped produce that too. We interviewed my family at our house.
That feels like forever,
Yeah, it was forever
ago.
That was
I
2009.
remember meeting you and Eddie, the stash.
And
my producer brain was like, this is a story.
Yes.
These are stories that need to be shared and told. This is fifth generation jeweler.
Right.
You're selling your family store to go out on your own and to start designing. There was just so much meat to that story that I remember. I asked my friend Tyler, can you shoot this? Let's produce a sizzle. Yes. Back when people actually like accepted sizzle reels and wanted to get your ideas.
Wow.
That was the start.
And there was never a reality show on jewelry, family businesses, and there still hasn't been. But maybe one day.
Yeah.
Yes, that's...
Because you get to control the narrative now by producing your own content.
Yes. And you're great at being an on-camera host, and that's what you professionally do, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I want to bring you on, because you've done so much for me in my business, helping me like launch collaborations we've done together.
Yeah.
So here on this episode, I want to talk to you and flip the tables. On the pleasure is all yours.
Yay!
So Brandi Milloy.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, thanks for having us here.
Woo, woo. Cool. Welcome to my home.
It's the best.
And we are in the kitchen.
And you've done a lot of work here.
The heart of the home.
Yeah. What's like? Give me some. This kitchen is your workplace too.
Yeah.
It's important to you. It's your home, but this is a beautiful kitchen that you also create your own content and lifestyle advice, cooking. So give me more about like where you're at now.
I feel like I have one of the best jobs in the world.
You
know what's cool is my husband always tells my kids this. He's like, you want to be like mom when you're grown up. So after I had done a lot of hosting on camera, I had a show on Food Network, on Cooking Channel. I had a digital show that we took to network. I've been a judge on cooking shows. I was a tastemaker for Today's Show for 5 years.
Was the Guy Fieri, show?
Yep, I was a judge for Guy's Grocery Games, Chop Junior, baking shows. But I was at Pop Sugar for a long time, for 7 years.
Right.
After that, I decided to start my own production company and leave and just be a freelancer and, start producing for other companies and kind of do my own thing.
Right.
And so what's cool is I get to work out of my home. I'm a contributor for different news shows, but I also create my own content. I'm the spokesperson for World Market, so I do all of their commercials. I help them launch lines, and I just get to create every single day. I work with food. I write recipes for brands.
So like you obviously have an audience of fans. You're the nucleus in a lot of relationships that connect me to people. Like you've introduced people to me that you don't even know, right? I'm saying people come to me. We heard of you on a post by Brandi or a story. That
makes me so happy.
And I want to say this is like, it's not a paid thing. Like you also do it organically. Sure, we have a collaboration separately, but these are things that you do because you also feel and believe in the brand, let's say. And you don't
for me, if I love something or someone, I will shout it to the rooftops. Yes. I will preach about it. I won't shut up about it.
Right.
And first of all, I love supporting small businesses, so I will always support a small business.
Thank you.
But I just think it's so cool what you and your family have done. And I remember back in 2008, 2009, when you told me that, the family store was going to close. You guys were going to kind of separate. Right. Kind of, Dad's going to retire.
Yes.
We thought he was going to retire. He's never going to stop. That was
actually 2015, not 2000.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yes, okay. He hasn't retired.
Yeah. And then you were going to go out on your own, start designing, do things that were just different. I thought it was so cool.
Yes.
And I think the jewelry is amazing. So I love sharing about it.
Thank you. It means a lot to me. So that's why I'm here. So we were talking about like what your audience and community, what thing resonates to them about what you do and some of the maybe things you're thinking of doing for the future.
Yeah.
You're a brand, Brandi. You are your own brand. So what do you have coming up?